Hi everyone, and welcome back to Sweet Skeins podcast by me, Candy, of Handmade by Candy on Instagram, BlueSky, Ravelry, all the places. I am here with a 2-month knitting recap. I did not get a chance to film at the end of April, and I apologize for that, but unfortunately life just got in the way. Too much stuff was going on, and things happen. So I'm here with 2 months worth of knitting, which honestly is probably really more accurate to 1 month's worth of knitting. May has been a light knitting month for me. I'm recording this on Friday, May the 30th, and I'm hoping it will go up either the weekend or on Monday, June 2nd. I think that's the date, at the latest. So in case you're new here, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you clicking on this video. I am in Southern Indiana, but I am originally from the Pacific Northwest, west of Seattle, and I don't know, I think maybe that's fun to know. I am married, husband, 2 kiddos, 1 boy, 1 girl. They won't be on the podcast necessarily, but I eventually plan to knit them more things. I have made them things in the past. We have a cat, a dog. The dog you might hear if he gets a little too wound up, but I did let him out before I started filming, so hopefully he stays chill. The cat might make a cameo appearance. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. But that's me. I fumble over my words. I also word vomit, so I apologize in advance if this gets a little too rambly, because that's just me. I think we should go ahead and get started with the knitting. I will be referencing my iPad over here. It's got my notes. So if you see me looking down over here, that's why, that's what I'm doing. I will, before we get into the knitting that I've been doing, I'm gonna start with the knitting that I'm wearing, and it is a finished object from last August, my rose cardigan by Andrea Mowry. I think it's actually just called Rose. Max, you're being loud. Go lay down. Sorry. It's Rose by Andrea Mowry. It is a pieced construction. You knit each of the 4 pieces separately. Mattress stitch the fronts to the back. The backs are 3 needle bind off up the you can't tell, up the center. And then after you have the 4 pieces seamed together, you pick up and knit the bottom ribbing, you do your sleeve ribbing, and then the last and final piece is this cable band, which is very, very cool. You knit 2 of those, you mattress stitch them together, 3 needle bind to the sweater, 3 needle bind off at the center, and ta-da! This took me ages, not because it was difficult or hard. It was, nothing about it was explicitly difficult or heck, even time consuming, because you just, one more repeat, like of the cable, of everything. There was pages in the pattern for you to like keep track of what row you were on, because it is a fade. So nothing about it, nothing about the sweater pattern, the pattern or the yarn is what caused it to take me almost 4 years to finish. It was just me. Life and things got in the way. I used Ba Yarn, the La Jolla base for this. It in 4 colors. The very end here is called Island Sorbet, and then it fades into Blue Nami. And then what I can't remember is if the gray with the orange is, I think this is Cityscape. And then the final just gray is On the Rocks, I think. Wonderful yarn, wonderful base. I have a decent amount left over from the knitting of this that I hope to do like a tank top or something to go underneath, where it would fade from the here at the top because that's what I have the least of, and work to the gray. So it would be like, aww. Don't mind me, I'm squirrely. I have had caffeine, so I apologize. But yes, this is, this gets some decent wear now that it's done. I'm really glad it's done. I really enjoy wearing it. It was a fun knit. I don't see myself knitting it again just because I don't see needing more than one, considering the sheer size of it. It does have tons of positive ease. I made the smallest size, and I do believe it came out, my gauge came out like spot on. So I made the smallest size, which is to fit a chest circumference of 28 to 32, because when I started knitting, that was accurate. But this is intended to be worn with 18 to 22 inches of positive ease, and the finished circumference is 50 inches. So even with my bust now closer to a 33 and a half, 34, I still have tons of ease, well within the, let's see, if it's 50 inches, yeah, so I'm closer to like 16 to 17 inches of positive ease, plenty, still cozy. So that's my rose cardigan and what I've been kind of wearing this morning while working before I clocked out for the day. And we'll move on to my finished objects. Now, one of my finished objects, well, not just one. No, one finished object I have here, down here. I can't show it to you like I want to because it was my test knit for Andrea Mowry, and the pattern has not been released yet. I have not been given the okay to share on social media. Again, sorry about the doggy making noise in the background. But because I have not been given the all clear to share information about it on social media, I am going to just show it to y'all folded up, and I'll tell you my yarn information, but yeah, I can't really show it off. Whenever it does get released, I will be sure to make a big deal about it in the podcast episode that comes out after it's released. So with that being said, we'll start with that one. And we'll do this so you can kind of, sort of, at least see. Okay. So yeah, you can't tell what this is. You might have an idea on like the stitch pattern, but that's it. The base, the black, is Wonderland Yarns Mad Hatter in the colorway Little Bat. And then the I-cord drawstring here, which I made using an I-cord maker, cordsmith type thing, is the colorway, I don't have a colorway because it is one mini from a set of 5 minis that was called the Logan Square Mini Set from years ago. So this one does not have its own color name, but it's a very pretty pastel-y rainbow kind of color. And I thought it would be a nice pop against this black. So that is my test knit. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Well, other than, in total, I used basically 2 full skeins. I had about 1/10 of a skein left of the black, so I could have done my drawstring I-cord in the black. I would have had the yardage for it just fine with 2 skeins in the size I made. However, I didn't know that going in, and I needed the I-cord before I could do part of the rest of it. So that's why I did do it in the mini skein, plus the pop of color's fun. And the amount I used for the color pop is less than what I had left of the black. So basically 2 skeins of yarn would cover it for this size. I did make the smallest size. Again, we'll get into more details about that when it's released. But those skeins are 113 grams, and this is deep stash yarn, so it did get me 226 grams towards my 2,500 in 2025. So yay for that. And then another finished object, really it was like 6, was coffee cup cozies that I will have to insert a picture of here because I've given them away already. And I made sure to take a picture for the podcast. But I used a variety of yarn, Malabrigo, Rios, and Natural, Squoosh Fiber Arts Ultra Worsted in Very Cherry, Western Sky Knits Willow Worsted in Elephant, Squoosh Fiber Arts Ultra DK in Beachcomber. So that one was the only one that was like a true DK, but it worked out. And in total for all my cozies, I used 100 grams. Woohoo! Again, all from 20 yarn purchased before 2025, so it counts towards my 2,500 grams in 2025. Now, my last finished object, you've been seeing it, is my Tolsta tank number 2, my second one. I knit this with Cascade Yarns Ultrafine Pima Cotton. I have my leftovers. So here's what I have left over from 5 skeins. This is about 3/4 of a skein. Now these are 50 gram skeins, yes. So 100% Pima cotton, 50 grams gets you 136.7 yards. And here's your ball band. I'll hide for a second. And the colorway is Zen Green. So I do have 3/4 of a ball left. So I will just kind of stick this in my 2025 finished object leftovers bag that I have going. So that way if something happens to this, if it gets snagged, if it needs to be repaired, what have you, I can have the exact yarn for it to mend it. Now, I took a little B-roll video that I'm hopefully going to be able to insert here. I've never inserted video on video before, so fingers crossed this works out for me. So I am not going to stand up here because I'm hoping to have like a short little clip here for you. But this is the Tolsta tank square neck version, and it is called that because it's, well, when it's not on my person, it has a square neck. I did the size 1 with the D cup bust darts, and this is a sport weight yarn. I used the fingering weight instructions because I met that gauge versus the DK weight gauge with this yarn. I probably could have knit this at the DK weight gauge instructions just because of what it is, but I think it would have been just a little too open of a gauge that I wouldn't feel as comfortable wearing it. I don't know, maybe I would have without something underneath it. And the whole point of a tank top is to not have to have something on underneath it. It's my underneath layer. So, but yes, I did do the bust shaping, which you can see here, and is the darts up. And these were for my increases because this is bottom up. And then you decrease the extra stitches away in your front panel after you split for front and back. I did add length. I'm pretty sure I added length to my first Tolsta. I'll stand up for this. But you do start with the ribbing at the bottom, and then I probably added 2 inches. Because I want to say my pink version that I have made previously, I added 1 inch because I feel like everything that the Crayabea, who this pattern is by, Rebecca Clow, her patterns always seem cropped to me. Maybe it's just my compared to my body, it would be cropped. So I knew on the pink one, I wanted to add at least 1 inch just to get it a little bit longer. And in wearing my pink one, I was like, you know what, this is a good length, but I wouldn't mind it being just a little bit longer. So I think that's why I did do an extra inch on this one. And I love the length. As you can see, I said I wasn't gonna stand up, but I did. But it comes way past my hip. My hip is up here. So you could chop off quite a bit if you don't. But I graduated in the mid-2000s. I'm used to long tank tops, okay? So that's what I wanted. That's what I knit. But yeah, this is my second one. I have talked about this in the past on previous episodes about this tank top, but the decrease rates for size 1 bust dart D is incorrect in the pattern. I have emailed her about it once. I need to email her again with like what I figured out to do to get it to match the back as far as height wise, and just say, here's what I did. It at least gets me to the correct stitch count in a more appropriate distance. But if you could revisit this so other people can have this information. But regardless, all the other sizes look fine. It's just the size 1D bust darts that are off. And I think it's just because like one section got missed. It's there, but like no instructions for it. Anyways, I do love the finished item. I did, or do rather, it's a little close under my arm, but as I've worn it today, I've noticed it's not bugging me as much as I thought it would. And this is also cotton, it's ribbing, so as you wear it, it'll relax. I don't foresee it being an issue. It, for the most part, does cover my bra strap. It does poke out on the back, but I don't care. I didn't want to make this any wider because of the armhole here. And you do the armhole strap last because you knit the front, do the ribbing, pick up stitches, cast some on here, and then knit in the round. So that's my second one. I may make a third or fourth down the road, but I do think I want to give other tank top patterns a try because why not? But that is my second one. I liked it enough the first time to do it again. All right, so this was also yarn purchased prior to 2025. I used 212 grams total. So of my finished projects, for all of these were finished in April, by the way. I have nothing finished from the month of May. I've done knitting in May, just not finished anything. So for the month of April, I used 538 grams of yarn, bringing my total used for the year to 1,236 grams. And that leaves me with 1,264 grams to go to get my 2,500 grams in 2025 goal. Oh, I got a bit of a farmer's tan. I think that's very attainable. I'm just shy of halfway with that with those numbers. And that means we're just going into June. So I have just over half. So I have 7 months left to do the other half. So I think we're good. Especially considering one of the projects I'm working on would count towards it. I have hibernating whips that would count towards it. I really want to finish them too. They're just not like the thing I want to work on. So we're doing good on the 2,500 and 2025 goal I set for myself. All right, moving on. Thank you everybody for sticking with me here. My active works in progress. I have some significant progress to show you. We're going to start with my All of the Lights by Locatelli. She has put out a couple she calls them journals recently that have been very, I love listening to her speak. She's from Argentina and she just, I just enjoy hearing her speak. I have progressed since last we spoke. I didn't go back and look, but I think I had picked up along this edge and I have since worked down this is the back panel that I'm working on. What I have on holders is the shoulders. So we are working down the back. I have finished 2 of the charts are 16 row repeats. So I have done 18 rows plus the setup row. Rows, I think it's 2 setup rows. So I am honestly over halfway to being done with the back portion before I have to put this on a waste yarn, scrap yarn, try it on tubing, something, and pick up and start working the fronts. I'm really loving it. I love this yarn. We've got the 2 big cables in the center. Then there is a lace and then the smaller cable motif on either side. So it's not something I can really intuitively like read my knitting and know what to do next. I can do that on my wrong side rows. Like, it's easy for me to kind of know what to do on the wrong side after having done a right side, and I always do 2 rows at a time whenever I pick this up. I try to do 2, if not 4 rows at a time when I pick this up, just because it is involved, and that way I'm making good progress. Because 4 rows on this is like 1/2 inch, roughly. So if I do that well, I don't do it every day, but we've got some ends to deal with already, but that's okay. That's okay. It's plugging along. This is gonna be gorgeous. Once I get this, it won't be in the round, but once I get the front and back to where they're connected and I'm just going all the way around the whole time, I might start alternating skeins, but I don't see a point in doing so until then, just because of the yarn itself. Like, I don't think you're gonna be able to tell enough, and I know I will get through what I need to do for the back panel before I need to start a second ball. So I may pick up the fronts with a second ball and then have that and just kind of go from there. All of the yarn looks fine next to each other. Like, I got the same dye lot, so that's why, again, I'm not super worried about dye lot differences. But the yarn, I haven't told you what that is. That is Emma's Yarn Simply Spectacular DK in the colorway Mexican Wedding Dress. I was gonna say wedding dress, but it's Mexican wedding dress, and it's gorgeous. I will go ahead and I have it in a fun little thing so it doesn't barf all over me. You guys know I mean the yarn barf, not like actual barf. Okay, but yeah, it's gorgeous. Love it, love it. Okay, this sweater might not get done this year. I did start it because it is part of the Eat Sleep Knit Yarnathon sweater serials knit-alongs. So that's what gave me the motivation to start it. But if I don't finish it this year, it's okay. Like, I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. It gave me the motivation to start it. It had been in my queue. I'd bought the pattern a while ago, so I'm excited. As long as I just keep making progress, even if it's slow progress, I'll take it. Because it's a long, like, duster. It'll be like past my bum. So it's gonna take some time to finish knitting. My other, and really only other active whip that you've seen before is my boucle blanket. So let's see, in April, I think I was knitting on, we might be able to tell when I pull it out based on where a stitch marker is. I have since received the April and May colors, which I'll talk about the April because it's connected and it's right there. But I'll show the May in acquisitions. Or here, I don't know, we'll see. But okay, yeah, so I had finished February's color, which is the purple, last time we were together. It's getting big. It's very wide. Like, very wide. Like, there's one end and it all the way, yeah. So it's very wide. I can't extend it fully on the cables, but you can see it's good and wide. This is the reverse side, and this is the front. And the only reason I can tell that is because it's garter and the color changing rows. But so I showed the March color last time, and that is the Whisper, this pretty speckly one. And then the May color is called Pine Cone, and it's this pretty brown, which again is in one of my sleeves here, just to keep it tidy. It is a nice, like, light brown with darker brown spots to it. Spots, not speckles, just like it's tonal. It's not solid. It's definitely tonal. So I am actively working on this color. I really, really like it. It's just garter, so it flies pretty quick. This little stitch marker over here is holding a dropped stitch. I figured it out too far, like I had already done that much when I figured out I had dropped the stitch. Thankfully, boucle does not like unravel because it did not drop more than like at all. It's just was chilling. So I did trap it, so whenever I go to weave in ends, I will secure it. And then I just did an increase on the edge. So I do technically have like a little dip in this spot. I don't care enough to go back and fix it. I just don't. And then I just added my stitch back in, and I've been knitting ever since. I think I still have the same number I cast on, but yeah. So it is getting a decent size. I'll go ahead and do the acquisition for this one, and then I'll do the rest of my acquisitions at the end. But here is the May color, French Kitten. She's pretty. She's pink with purple and a little bit of brown. So it's gonna go perfect after the brown color. But yeah, French Kitten. So I'm like, believe it or not, like I'm knitting this brown faster than I did the color before it, because I really want to do this color. And just as a refresher for those of you who have forgotten, or if you're new here, again, thank you for sticking with me here. This is 100% superwash merino boucle, 240 meters or 245 yards to 100 grams. So far, my skeins have been over 100 grams. Now, I know dye can sometimes factor into that, but as a example, my Whisper was started at 111 grams, and this is how much I have left over from knitting the same amount of rows as the Copper and Bohemian. This is how much Bohemian I had left over. It was also over 100 grams, but I don't remember by how much. So you can see it's a little smaller. And as a contrast, now I do realize I cast on, which takes more yarn than a standard row, but this is all I have left of my first color. So this one was probably closer to 100 grams, like a true 100 gram skein. But ever since then, my skeins have been over. So I have leftovers. About 50, I think I had, I'll just look. Because I keep track of this. This is all on my project page. But yeah, I had 22 grams left over for March. Keep in mind I had 11 grams more than I was supposed to start. So, and 15 grams of February left, only 3 grams from January. So I'm expecting to have some left over from April because it started out heavy as well. Let me see. April, yes, was 113 grams to start. I haven't weighed my May, but I'm curious to see if it's also over. But yeah, I'm gonna have leftover yarn, which is fine. I'll keep it for mending, and honestly, that's all, because of just that I don't see myself using these colors in anything else. But as far as this project, it's advertised by Molly of A Homespun House as a year-long blanket along, but this is already getting so big, and with how wide it is, I'm going to knit through June. I have pre-ordered June. It'll ship in June. I'm gonna knit through June, see how deep it is, like how big we're at, because it'll be double. It'll be double this, right? And see what dimensions I'm at, and if I want to stop there or how much further I want to go. I know already I'm not going to do all 12 months just because I don't see a need for that big of a blanket. I'm gonna see how we are at 6, and then if I'm like, you know, I like it, but I'd like it to be bigger, then I will probably do 2 more. Like I'll do July and August and then stop. They might not be pre-orders at that point because just depending on how fast I knit, but I will probably, if I am gonna go ahead and do 2 additional, I will wait and order them at the same time, like when I'm pre-ordering August maybe, or waiting till August 1st and ordering both so that way they can just ship together. Save myself a little money there because paying shipping each time adds up, especially when it's coming from Germany. But I'm loving the project. I'm loving the colors that she's doing. I may watch her, she does little YouTube videos too, along with her Patreon, but I may kind of wait and see whenever she releases those colors to make sure that August is a good, or June. When I get June, I'll know if it's a good stopping color, or if, you know, July, August, if I need to like flip flop or change some orders around, we'll see. But definitely not going to do all 12 colors. Somewhere between 6, 8, maybe 9. That's where I'm kind of at right now, but I definitely won't be doing all 12, just because of the size, not because of any other reason. Okay, that was the last active WIP. I have a cast on that I don't have with me because it's at work and I didn't bring it home. I am doing a knit along with my friend and coworker, Joji, and we met each other at a work winery trip. I love my job. They do fun things for us. But we met at our, like I said, at a winery trip. And I was wearing my pink fizz sweater and she looks at me and she's like, "You're a knitter with a capital K." And I was like, "Why, yes I am." So we became instant friends and we decided to do a knit along at work on our lunch. She is far further along than I am. Totally fine. She has more time to knit than I do. Her kids are older than mine, more grown. She just has more time in general, which perfectly fine. She doesn't, like, I don't want her to feel bad about being way further ahead of me. I'll eventually bring mine home and work on it a little bit just to kind of like keep it moving, because the only time I get to knit at work is like my lunch break. So I get a couple rows in and then I'm done. But it's the Penguono by Stephen West, and I don't have a picture of my progress. I want this to go up before I'd be able to take a picture of my progress, but I do have a picture of all of the yarn that I'm using. And I can't rattle it all off because it's all of my leftovers. I have put together all of my DK and fingering weight yarn leftovers from over the years. Mostly from projects or stuff that I've either given away or don't wear anymore, or if something does happen to it, I'm not upset. Like, I'm not worried about needing yarn to mend anything. But basically all my DK and fingering weight scraps are going into this because it's Stephen West. It's scrappy, it's colorful, it's great. I think Joni's using like full skeins, but that she pulled from her stash. So 2 very different things, but they're both like super funky, or mine's gonna be super funky. Right now it's just pretty because it's only one color. But it's fun, and I will insert the picture I took of the yarns that I sent to Joni whenever I was like pulling it all together. And I'm excited to see how it turns out. I need to get past this section so I can join another spot. But it's a fun, funky pattern by Stephen West. And it's the way it's written, it's one size. Your gauge is what determines how big it is. So I shouldn't say one size. The size is dependent on your gauge. I'm doing basically the DK weight to get my size. But you could do chunky yarn and get it bigger. 1 set of stitch counts, 1 set of instructions. So that's nice. My other cast on I do have here. It is my mom's Mother's Day present. Yes, I know it's after Mother's Day. I had originally started a different project in this yarn because she had declared that she liked it. So I knew I was gonna make her Mother's Day present out of this yarn. Hi Mom, I'm sure you're watching. I have progress. But I frogged it because I did not like how that first project was going. And so while she was here for Mother's Day, I looked up some patterns because she said she wanted another cowl. And I found this one called Star Shower, and I'll include a picture here. And it's the construction of it's really cool. You start out with a crescent, which is where I'm still at. I'm almost to joining in the round, but you start out with like this crescent shape, and it starts out smaller at the top and gets bigger at the bottom. So you can have it as a cowl, or you can pull it down over your shoulders. And my mom, the perpetually cold woman, love you, Mother, but you are, she'd agree. This is just perfect for her. It is lacy. I showed her the pattern. She said she loved it. So I have started it. I am not super far along, but I am decent progress. We have a crescent shape. Let's see if I can. It's gonna be harder to show later because I will be joining soon and then it won't be easy to fan out, but we are at a crescent shape. So it's got these fun eyelet rows with blocks of stockinette with garter and stockinette in between. So really, really fun. The yarn I'm using is Hedgehog Fibers Oh So Fine Merino. It's 100% merino, fingering weight. 100 grams is 425 meters. And this is the color Gossip. And honestly, Mom, I'm surprised you picked this because it's not her normal wheelhouse for colors. She's normally red and purples, but I didn't have any other plans for it, so I'm perfectly happy to knit my mama a cowl in it. And I think that, yes, the colors are busy, but it's not, as a cowl, it'll be great, especially over a solid. So, well, I guess it would be more like this because I'm about to join it in the round like so. And then it'll obviously get bigger. But yeah, Mom, that's the progress on your project, your present. I have a self-imposed deadline of getting this done at the end of June, so I have time to, by the end of June, so I have time to block it before me and my husband and kids all travel back home to visit all of my family. And I would like to be able to take it with me and give it to her in person. I think that's a very realistic goal, but we'll see if I achieve it. Depends on these kids and life. So that is my last active whip. I'm itching to cast something on, and I really think it's gonna be a Tolsta tee. It would be with stash towards that 2,500 in 2025. This would also count towards 2,500 and will it? No, I think I just lied to y'all. I don't think it will. Did I buy it this year? I think I bought it this year. Yes, I did. So this will not count towards the 2,500 in 2025 because I got this in February. I'm a liar. Okay, but I think I'm finally gonna cast on a Tolsta tee. It's the same gauge as the tank top, just a t-shirt and from the top down versus bottom up. So I'm very excited about that. I am, I just can't completely decide what yarn I'm going to use to make it. I have a bunch of Lion Brand True Boo. Some I bought before Joann's declared they were going out of business, and some I've bought since. I also have some Sandus Garden Lena that would work. I have options. I really do. I have the Juniper Moon Farm Zooey, Z-O-O-E-Y, that I have enough yardage of in a very pretty blue color. But I think I'm leaning towards my True Boo in the color Raisin, which is like a purple, to do top down t-shirt. I also think I'm going to do the bust darts in that one as well, because I think they're built into the increases to get your additional what have you, and then you decrease them out, and is almost more like waist shaping maybe. I haven't actually looked at the pattern. Do I own the pattern yet? That would be helpful. Yes, I do. So that is, I think, going to be my next cast on. I think. But that's my tentative plan. Moving on to acquisitions. So if acquisitions are not your jam and you are done, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again next time. If you do love a good acquisition haul, I've got some fun stuff for you. So I've already showed you my Homespun House boucle blanket yarn. Yes, I have shown that. It is gorgeous. The next thing I have is from Sorella. It was their Wicked pre-order. So you cannot get this color. I don't think you can even get the base currently, because they recently had a pre-order. I think it'll be closed for sure by the time I post this video. But y'all remember my nebula? My gray nebula by Andrea Mowry? Well, I got yarn to make another one. Sense of color theme? This is Sorella Yarns Surrey DK, and it's a chainette construction. Let me see. Cover myself. So it is like a chain tube that is then like filled with this foof. So it is something that is a little more difficult to dye. Ashley of Sorella said, so that's why they don't always do it, and when they do offer it, it's usually just solids or tonals. But I did get the Alfaba colorway. These are 100 gram skeins, 284 yards, 200 grams. I bought 3, even though I technically, if I remember correctly, I should only need 2. I should only need 2 for a nebula, but as much as I love my nebula that I have, my gray one, I wish it was longer. So I got a 3rd one just in case. If I don't end up tapping into it, I will go on to the Discord destash, and I'm sure somebody will scoop this up. I'm just sure. But yeah, I'm gonna make another nebula. I do not think that's going to be my next cast on, but I am so excited to finally show you guys this yarn so I can put it away. It is soft. But yes, it is 70% baby alpaca, 23% recycled nylon, that's the tubing, and 7% fine merino wool. And I love the tonality of this. It's green, it's got blue, and then like the chainette tube is almost kind of like a yellowy green. I don't know how well that's picking up, but it is just, oh, I love it. I'm so excited, so excited. So that's my really fun acquisition. Next is I have ordered, and in my possession, it has no ball band because this is From Wool to Die For, where you can get undyed. This is natural. And I got I've skeined one up so it's pretty, but I got a whole 10 pack of, it's called their Cloud 874. And this is, I believe it's 463 yards, 50 grams of 65% baby Surrey, 35% silk. And it's soft. It's really soft. I got this, because buying the entire 10 pack after shipping was under $100. That's significantly cheaper than if I were to buy from a dyer a color I wanted. But this is actually going to be held with one of my advents for a blanket of undetermined pattern at this time. And that's partially because I want to see how the advents play out. And also if I want to over dye this so it's not so cream. Like if I'm thinking about doing like a coffee bath with it just to like darken it up just a smidge, but we'll see. And that's where I'm not doing anything until I've opened my advents. So this will be late December, January, probably later than that. But this is to hold double. And I got this version because Wool to Die For has, I think they call it Surrey Cloud. Like this is Cloud 874, but they also have Surrey Cloud Surrey, whichever it is, that has a higher alpaca content, less silk. But that is only like 300 and some yards to 50 grams, where this is the 463 to 50 grams. So this is more compatible with my, it really doesn't matter. This is just less, maybe a little less floofy, because it's got less alpaca. But I did this because this is basically one of these is 5 of the minis in an advent, in the advents I bought. I ordered the Fiber Fox and Yarn Ink. The Yarn Ink is in the US and Fiber Fox is in the UK, I believe. They're both fades. The Yarn Ink is more of a moody, oh, it's gonna be gorgeous. And then the Fiber Fox is like a yellow to orange to pink to, I don't remember the exact color order, but it looks very pastel, like country flowers. Gorgeous. And that's what I'm leaning towards holding with this, but I'm gonna open it first. At least a week's worth of both before I fully commit. But yeah, so that's why I got this, what I got it for. So I'm expecting to use 5 to 6, depends on if I use the main skein in either one for the blanket, which it depends on where it goes in the order. If it's the beginning or if it's the end. Most of the time I think they put them at the end when they're a fade, but I don't know. I'm getting rambly now. But it would be 5 if I only use the minis, 6 if I use the full skein as well in my blanket. And so that's why I got undyed, because it's a heck of a lot cheaper to add the undyed than regular. And then I'll still have 4 or 5 left for other projects. And I just thought the yardage would be a lot easier to, it's more equivalent to a mohair than your standard Surrey would be, because usually Surreys are 300 and some yards to 50 grams if it's the Surrey lace weight. So doing this one with the higher silk content got it to be more equivalent to a mohair to swap out. That's all my yarn acquisitions. I also got some goodies from my mommy when she came for Mother's Day. Thanks, Mom, because I'm sure you're still watching. So I'm gonna share those. I don't remember where she told me these are from. I know she said some of it was Amazon and some was Etsy. Look at this fun yarn skein. It's got my name on it. And it opens to hold your stuff. So that's pretty cool. So I got this one. My favorite color is pink, so hence the pink. There's also a little mini one. These are 3D printed, which is so cool. I told my husband he needs to find these, and then he can make them for people if they liked them. But I don't see him actually doing that. Anyways, moving on. The next thing that is personalized, she got me some stitch markers, and I'll pull one out. But they're little yarn ball stitch markers that say my name. How cute, right? So there's a pink one, and they're sparkly. Are they sparkly, or is it just the way the yarn is? Yeah, I think they're sparkly. So an orange one, and a green one, blue one, and a purple one. And they all have my name on the little yarn band, which is just so cool. So Mom, if you remember where you bought these, put a comment down below so that way people know where to buy these. For themselves or for their knitty friends. Next up, we've got a couple more things. This I think came from Joann's, but it's still it is a keychain, and the reason I say I think it came from Joann's is because Big Twist, and I know that is like the Joann, one of the Joann yarns, but it's in my stitching era keychain. It won't stay. And then it's got the big thing, and then a yarn skein. So that's cute. Thank you, Mama. And then this I know is from Etsy because there's a card in here. This is from Alice R. Crafts Handmade Stitch Markers. She is on Facebook and Instagram. AliceRcrafts.etsy.com. Bead stitch markers, charm key rings, lanyards, and kids key rings. That's what that says. So these are Cinderella themed. Oh, wonder if that's just an extra. I don't know if this is an extra or if it just didn't get put on the thing, but we've got a really pretty enamel Cinderella that's still moving. There we go. Really pretty enamel Cinderella. And then on a big clip, like look at that, that's a big clip. We've got some other fun little, but I'll show this one because like I said, I can't tell if it's supposed to be part of the, if it's like supposed to be a little fun little creature because that's what Cinderella does, or what. But we've got a clock for midnight, although it's not midnight, it looks like it is 11:40. We've got the fairy godmother wand. We've got a little mouse. That's gonna notch. Whoop. Yeah, you can kind of see that's a mouse. And then we've got a shoe and a carriage. So super cute. Sorry. Super, super cute. And then this does not say where it's from, so it's either Amazon or Mom. Maybe you can find your Etsy purchase history and we'll link it below. If she texts me the information, I'll put it in a comment or update the description. But this one is Hogwarts Harry Potter themed. We've got just a jewel, a green jewel. I'm not Slytherin, but I'll take it. Well, I'm holding this the wrong way based on how this is sitting. I'm still holding it the wrong way. We've got the Hogwarts crest. A little castle. A broom, because we're gonna go flying on our brooms. A 9 3/4. Yeah, you might be able to see that. A lightning bolt and the Brothers Grimm, not Brothers Grimm. Oh my gosh, that's the wrong fandom. Oh, it's not gonna come to me. But the story, The Beetle and the Bard, in the Beetle and the Bard stories, with the wand, the ring, and the cloak. Yeah, if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so that's cute. And little, sorry guys. All right, that is the last of my acquisitions. all the goodies from Mama that are stitching related. She gave me some other goodies too. A new water bottle, which I left on my desk at work as well. A like cold drink or hot drink, technically, sleeve. Probably other stuff. She brought stuff for my kids. She came for Mother's Day, but brought presents. We'll take it, right, Mom? But anyways, that's all I've got for everybody today. Thank you so much for watching and tolerating me for almost an hour. I'm going to try and get those pictures and that video clip added to this and get this uploaded as soon as possible. And I hope you all have a great, wonderful day.